had lots of fatigue. I hurt everywhere. I'd been into doctors to see what could possibly be wrong, and nobody could diagnose me.
So Lyme disease, it's one of the most controversial illnesses in the history of medicine. It's the fastest growing infectious disease, and it's quickly sweeping the country as more people are starting to understand it, understand the symptoms, the exposure, and the risk factors.
From the beginning, the first symptoms I noticed was a racing heart, shortness of breath, and from there it went to left side numbness and slowness of my hand. I'm a piano teacher, and I noticed that I was really slowing down in my playing. Here I was last Monday, and was telling Dr. West all of my symptoms, and all this, I went in thinking, I went in skeptical, and I thought, you know, I'm not going to say anything about the cyst. I'm going to see if this guy can figure me out. The numbness on my left hand and my leg. I played in church. I haven't played in church for 5-6 months. I stopped, and I'm a piano teacher, and that's what I love to do. Very skeptical. What can vitamins and a little tweaking do? You know, these symptoms were real, and in my head, I was going downhill fast. I mean, I didn't know what I had, but I knew something was happening. And for him to tweak and just relieve that was amazing.
You can have every Lyme symptom in the book, fatigue, brain fog, joint pain, and still be told you're fine, but still sick. And if your Lyme test came back negative, you can have the Lyme symptoms, over 40 main symptoms. And your doctor may still be telling you, hey, it's fine, it's all in your head, quit looking on the internet. And that's because the standard Lyme tests your doctor uses were designed decades ago to detect acute infections and not the chronic or relapsing ones that people struggle with today. How long have you been sick?
As long as I can really remember.
Okay,
honestly. So 20 years.
Some infectious disease, tick-borne illness involvement. You did a whole bunch of stuff in healthcare.
He had been sick for, as he said, probably 20 years of his life. And we were at a place where he needed help. It was the end.
So we did a really high dose vitamin C infusions, dilute hydrogen peroxide, dilute hydrochloric acid, ultraviolet blood irradiation therapy, amino acid therapy.
Neural therapy.
So that's how we reboot nerves. It's a way to get the nerves to open, close, and reset.
Acupuncture as well.
Okay, so again, just trying to line up your energies. We gave you some supplements. Yeah, so when you load up the body with building blocks, I like to tell people it's kind of like there's a crew, a construction crew waiting for the lumbar truck to come up to be able to, you know, have a bunch of, to build a new house.
I all of a sudden just saw, it was like a light switch almost. He would come in the morning and I was almost like, who are you? And emotionally he was in a better place, and I could tell physically, definitely he was in a better place.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever been told your labs look normal, but you still feel awful? You're tired all the time, you're inflamed, your brain is foggy, maybe your body just keeps feeling off and you keep hearing, everything looks fine. If that's you, I want you to know this. You're not crazy and you're not imagining.
It took me over a year to get diagnosed. And so the first thing they were saying that was fibromyalgia. Well, possibly it might be an autoimmune disease. When all of that basically came back negative, my physician that I'm currently seeing basically said, oh man, I hope it's not Lyme disease, because if it is, there's nothing I can do for you because you're in the chronic stages, according to guidelines.
You came here how long ago?
Over a year ago now, I think.
Okay, so it's about a year. And from the time that you started to now, you marked on your paperwork that you were a percentage better. What was it?
Today,
Yeah.
65%.
Okay,
better.
so, and then what does that allow you to do? Because I know it's not 100%. You still have work to do.
Still
but
got work to do.
What can you do now?
So I'm able to cook my own meals. So I'm able to cut up vegetables now. I started physical therapy, so I can walk back and forth in a pool, which would have been absolutely impossible a year ago. And I only have to sleep 2 hours a day as opposed to basically all day. What I want people to realize about Lyme disease is it is very prevalent and it's hard to diagnose. And a lot of doctors just don't recognize it. There isn't the knowledge base and understanding out there. So keep searching for answers and keep pushing for better testing and patient and physician education.
All right, you guys, let's dive in. If you're watching this and you're exhausted, foggy, inflamed, craving sugar or caffeine just to function, and you've been told your labs are normal, I want you to hear this. Like, you're not broken, you're not lazy, you're not crazy. It's just that your body's stuck. And today I wanted to explain why. Chronic infections, especially Lyme and Lyme infections, they trap your metabolism and your energy systems into a survival loop that most doctors never address. And if any point during this live you realize, hey, this is me, don't white knuckle it alone. You can go to lymefighter.com. I'm going to bring that up right here. And you can get an owner's manual. Now, this isn't a sales pitch. Of course, I'm in the wrong thing here. Let me just fix this. This is really what we want to do to help you to be healthy. And it's at www.lymefighter.com. Let me get that for you one more time. And the reason why I say that is it's not a sales pitch. It's an owner's manual. It's a resource guide so that you can finally understand what's happening inside of your body. And it all has to do for energy. So again, let me get it right this time. If at any on this process you want a resource guide, it's right here. Have you tried anything for Lyme? It's at lymefighter.com. Let me bring that up right here so that you can see it's right on top of this. And you can just look at it. Now, when you get sick, you run out of energy. Most people think fatigue is all about stress and it's all about age or sleep. That's not what I see every day in the clinic. What I see is chronic infections hijacking how your cells make energy. And literally, when your immune system is constantly activated, your body reroutes its fuel away from performance and it's just trying to survive. It's about defense. And that means less energy for your brain, your muscles, hormones, digestion. And it's your body isn't failing, it's prioritizing survival. Now, in survival mode, the metabolism slows down to a crawl. And this is why people with chronic infection say, I eat clean, but I feel worse. Or I exercise and I crash. And I used to be sharp and driven and now I'm just surviving. Look, it's not motivation. And what most people don't realize, like when you have Epstein-Barr, Lyme disease, chronic staph infection, Pseudomonas, E. coli, Mycoplasma, any of the co-infections like Babesia or Bartonella, so many times people are lonely. And what happens is they've got a doctor here, their spouse or their partner here, their family here, friends here, and they're saying, hey, you should do this, or you should try that, or buck up, or just exercise, or eat better, or you just need to move, or you're depressed. What I found that people that have chronic subclinical infections, that means the infection is not enough to put them in the hospital. These are some of the strongest people that I've ever met. It's not motivation, it's biology, and they're just trying to survive. And this is where inflammation and stress hormones, like they enter the picture. So when your immune system is under constant pressure, your stress hormones, that fight or flight response, stays elevated. The cortisol stays high. The adrenal output becomes erratic. And your nervous system never relaxes. And when you can't relax and you can't reboot, you never heal. So your body doesn't know the difference between infection and a threat. So it stays on hyper alert all the time. And that's when people say, hey, look, I just stuck in survival mode. You know, I make myself get up. I don't feel like getting up. And I go out and I hammer things and make myself be the mother, the father, the child, the leader of the family. And oftentimes with these people, like sleep doesn't restore you, rest doesn't recharge, vacations and sleeping in on the weekends doesn't fix it. And eventually what happens at this chronic high fight or flight response, the blood sugar regulation starts to wobble. And so people feel tired. They crave carbs and sugar. They need something a little bit to just get them going. And they feel shaky if you don't eat. And so they get afternoon crashes. They feel wired and exhausted at night, but they can't really shut off. This is where I think willpower is a problem. This is a metabolic stress pattern driven by immune pressure. And here's what many people get misled. They're told again, oh, you just need to eat better. You need to exercise more. You need to meditate harder. Take supplements. Just take antibiotics or get a PICC line or go to, a special retreat. You're just out of order. Now, that's what I hear a lot. But when the immune system is under pressure, one of the first thing that's happened is that master gland right here, the thyroid, adapts. This is really important. We commonly see thyroid patterns that confuse doctors and patients. The labs, they look okay, but they don't match how the person feels. Which, by the way, if you're chronically ill, and I'm speaking to the people that have been to a lot of places and haven't turned around, one of the best ways to evaluate thyroid is to do a Broda-Barnes temperature test. Like let's just record your temperature right in the morning you get up. Make sure it's the same thermometer, either armpit or a forehead or ear thermometer or under the tongue, and make sure let's document this. We have a form that's available that I would love to share with you. This is simple and inexpensive, and it gives you amazing ability to just look inside your body and see the hormones. And this is one of those classic signs. Dr. Barnes put this together, which, by the way, I don't know him. I just have high respect for him. That he said, thyroid blood tests aren't enough. Now, and by the way, it's not just in the thyroid, but the thyroid output can look adequate, but it isn't converting right. And so the signal that say, slow down, conserve, survive. So your body is holding on to what you're putting in your system. And it seems so unfair. People don't feel very well. Usually, a lot of times they're eating pretty healthy. Now, some people give up and just be like, look, if I'm going to feel bad, I'm just going to eat. I'm going to cave into sugar. When I say cave in, maybe that's too harsh. I'm just going to try and get something to give me a little bit of joy in my life. Now, sometimes it's the thyroid. We're going to talk about some other glands, but the thyroid doesn't exist in isolation. The thyroid gets input from the pituitary, which I feel is the most neglected gland in medicine. Maybe it's the spleen. Spleen helps your immune system. The pituitary tells the thyroid how to function. And so it listens to inflammation. It listens to stress. It's really important for your immune system. And then there's interaction with the pineal gland, and there's the liver involved, and it's the testes, and it's the ovaries. And so when people say, I've tried thyroid support or thyroid prescriptions and it didn't work, it's not surprising. You see, if the immune system is still under the fire, the thyroid doesn't cooperate. So just hammering it with a thyroid prescription, and Dalwazones works, we need to literally weed, seed, and feed the body. So that's the statement we come up with. It comes to detox. And this is a part that frustrates a lot of high-performing, educated patients, because many times those guys turn into researchers. Those people turn into researchers, and they do the right things. They eat clean. They drink water. They're doing saunas. There's all these things that they're doing. And so coming back to it, doc, I'm doing the right things. Clean food, filtered water, saunas, supplements, protocols that they research deeply. They're taking cat's claw or saw palmetto or garlic or monolaurin or lomatium, or there's so many different things, and they feel worse. Now, when that happens, and if that's you, it's because your detox powers require energy. And not only that, it requires a nutrient payload to help with your energy, and it requires a functioning cellular engine. So if your cells are depleted, and this is why in the office I always talk about there's no such thing as an Epstein-Barr protocol or a Lyme disease protocol or an autoimmune protocol. There's a protocol specifically for you. There's a protocol for Jason. There's a protocol for Jose. There's a protocol for Jordan. And what happens is you design the protocol based upon what the patient needs, not based upon the disease or the condition. So if your cells are depleted, pushing a detox protocol can feel like hitting the gas in your car and there's an empty tank. The nutrients get burned up faster, we're throwing stuff in the engine and they're getting replaced, and minerals get drained and the protein pathways aren't working right. And suddenly these habits and this happens so many times, people say, Doc, I was doing this and I didn't change anything and it's not helping. Well, the habits, the body has sometimes habits that it gets used to, and your mind saying, I want to live up here. And then your body's living down here. And suddenly those habits, they just don't help anymore. And this is when people start bouncing. They go from protocol to protocol, from doctor to doctor, to hope to hope. And that's one of the reasons why we designed a system to help prevent that. And again, I have a free guide for you called the Lyme Fighter Guide, where my mission is to help as many people as possible beat the disease of chronic infection. Now, chronic infection can literally lead to neurobehavioral, neurodegenerative, psychiatric, so it gets and messes up with melancholy and happiness and anxiety and depression. And at the clinic, we build a system so you don't have to rely on me having a perfect day. You don't have to rely on a perfect insight. You don't have to guess, like that structure matters. We see so many times people, look, we should test and not guess. So let's run standard lab tests. Let's do a complete blood cell count. Let's look at your white blood cells. Let's look at your viral fighters, your bacterial fighters, your inflammatory markers, your allergy and your parasite markers. Let's look at the red blood cells, the red blood cell health, the hemoglobin, hematocrit. That's such an important part. Just getting the oxygen nutrients to pick up stuff in the stomach, take it over to the organs, tissues, and cells. Take the waste products over to the liver and kidneys. Like red blood cells, drop off the groceries and take out the trash. White blood cells are your immune system. And so those are common structured tests. Red blood cells, white blood cells. Then your metabolic panel. Liver enzymes, kidney enzymes, trace minerals, pH, your electrolytes, the kidney filtration, your blood sugar. Like those are a CBC and a CMP, like those are really common. And then touch into the hormones, a thyroid stimulating hormone, a T4, looking at estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, free testosterone. And then there's really neat tests that are available. What's in your environment? Is it formaldehydes? Is it pesticides? Is it herbicides? Like the testing now is so much better. Just a few years ago, definitely better when I started taking care of chronic Epstein-Barr and chronic infections chronic sinus problems that weren't responding to antibiotics, and urinary tract infections. I've had so many people come in and say, I've got a urinary tract infection again, and we're just burning through antibiotics, or it's not working, or it's killing my stomach. You have to build a plan based on those patterns and not guesses. And then the cutting edge treatments, a lot of doctors don't know about, or they don't know how to use the sequence process properly. And it's not that I'm at the clinic trying to be fancy. It's that chronic illness requires precision and order. So that's why over here, if you're like, hey, I really want to know more, it's this. It's www.lymefighter.com. And the reason why I tell people about it, there's a free resource guide. And you read it like an owner's manual for the body. And so I have a question, let me answer this question for you. And that's this. What should you focus on first? Now, so many times people say, okay, it's lifestyle, it's diet. What is it? Well, it's not supplements. It's not protocols. It's not the latest trends that you see on Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. What it is you focus on what's keeping your body stuck in survival mode. So we start looking like, is it immune pressure? Is it unresolved infection? Is it metabolic instability? Is it nutrient depletion? Can you not get rid of the poisons? Now, once you know this, that's through the testing process. Everything else becomes simpler. That's why the practice is what we want to do, is that information from testing is a premium. We're high touch. We work with people that fly across the country and drive to work with us. And I'll say this plainly, a lot of times when people make that commitment, the better outcomes they tend to get, because they committed and they're not dabbling and they stop multitasking and they're healing. So if you're medically lost and you want to know about the testing that can really help you, or that you can feel medically lost and you've done all this research and you need a guide, like start with the guide, then we can book a call. And then so many times people are like, all right, Dr. West, this is great. how can we get into questions? Okay, so let's start going into a couple questions that I see up here on the board. And here's what it says. And I'll answer the questions I would if I was sitting right in front of you. Question number 1. Dr. West, I've tried functional medicine before. How is this different? So I'm seeing it right over here. Now, here's what it is. Most functional medicine, it looks at parts. Hey, your liver's off, or your cholesterol's up, or your thyroid's not working right. Most clinics add things, and what I feel that we do is we remove roadblocks, and we get protocols, and our patients get a plan. And that's the most important thing we do. Like, what is the most important supplement, herb, or vitamin, amino acids to take? Well, it's the one that you need. What's the most important organ system? It's the one that's showing the breakdown the most. Now, question 2. Dr. West, can you do something across the country virtually? And the answer is yes. A large portion of our patients are virtual. And what matters is this is literally a journey map, a communication and follow through. It's not geography. We help people all over the world every day. Dr. West, in your Lyme Fighter guide, how long does it take? Well, it takes long enough to do it right. It's shorter than staying sick for years. And I tell people it's not a quick fix medicine. It's an outcome driven medicine. That's why it's so important. Test, find a plan. What is the blockage to healing? And then focus on the outcome. Okay. Dr. West, do I have to stop doing everything I'm doing now? And the answer is a big fat maybe. Now, I know that answer is probably frustrating to answer this. Let me talk. It's not necessarily, but we want to simplify. And simplification, where it comes from, like if you're seeing some improvement, taking ashwagandha or rhodiola or a special type of liposomal vitamin C, or you're on a prescriptive pathway that's giving you some relief, like you should keep doing it. And then let's take the progress that you're making with that and build it into something more. Okay, Dr. West, what if I have been sick for a long time? Well, these are the people that I see every day. Everybody comes in and says, this is what's happening. And chronic doesn't mean hopeless. It means complex. Now, complexity requires leadership. And what I mean by that, if you're watching and thinking this, finally have someone explaining to me how I'm feeling, like don't wait for more time, like at least get the free guide and let's start talking about that. So go to lymefighter.com and let me show you, it's right here. Okay, and you can download that fighter guide. And then if it lines up for you, like we can book a free call and we can build a plan instead of another guess. So I don't want you to have another option. You need a path and we can help you find it. So you guys, that's what we wanted to cover is here's a pathway. Here's someone's user guide. By the way, let me show you, it's not just me saying it. I am so excited to share with you success stories, and literally they're right here. If you go to West Clinic, we can literally help you with these. There's so many success stories. And guess what? They're people just like you. Just for people that were like, hey, I can't get better. I can't improve. I'm stuck inside of a vortex and I can't get out. That's what we hear all the time. So if you'd like, grab the guide. It's right here, lymefighter.com. That's our program for tonight. And you guys, we'll see you on the next program. We'll see you then.